Alright, so I don't know if this is the way to do this or not, but what I did here is I got some bolts and I drilled holes through the 2x4s and put some wing nuts on the other side. And because I want this to be able to be removed pretty easily, but still be pretty sturdy. And if I put screws in here, that's going to make it more difficult to get out. And I think this is going to hold pretty well anyway. As the issue is, in order to get this this E-track attachment out of here, you're gonna have to take the 2x4 out. So I'm just gonna put these other 2x4s in the same way, and then put the plywood on top of that and screw the plywood down, and so this will all be one piece. But then I can take out the bolts and lift the whole thing out, and then move these E-track attachments so that I can adjust the height. Got the supports all in. I just used some 3-inch screws here for the front side of that, and then back here we got the bolts running through with the wing nuts on it, just like up here. So the next step then is to get some plywood cut for up there. So I got some plywood, and it's actually pretty thin plywood, but I think by the time I get it all attached down to the 2x4s, it's going to be just fine for these shelves. And I'm kind of sorting out here the best way to figure the shape of this thing, because it's not a rectangle. Well, obviously it's not a rectangle. It's not a triangle is what I meant to say, because this is going to be a flat edge here on each side. And then there'll be a little flat edge up there where that little piece of trim is. But I'm trying to sort out how to do this. And I think the best way is going to be to first cut it into a rectangle with the dimensions from here to here and from here to there. And those are 78.5 inches and 37.5 inches, and then this will be the shape eventually. But first I'm going to do this 78.5 like a, well, I guess I could draw here, but you probably understand what I mean. I'm going to do a rectangle first and then cut the corners off of it so that I have the right size. So that's the plan for now. We'll see how that works. Okay, so I'm doing a bit of guesstimating here, but here's how I'm going to figure out the shape. I know there's probably a way easier way to do this, and actually I've seen some people that will take like a piece of cardboard and lay it in here and kind of cut it out to shape. And yeah, I don't have a piece of cardboard that big, so I'm not going to fool with it. But here's how I'm going to try and get this pretty close to what I need. It doesn't have to be exact because it's already going to be offset from the wall a little bit, just because of the way I have these brackets and everything. I need room to have some play in there. So here's what I'm looking at. So from here over to this corner is going to be 13-ish inches on each side. And then that back strip on there is going to be kind of a flat part. That's 3.5 inches wide. Then the front part here was this, there it is, 78.5 inches. If I divide that in half, I get 39.25 inches to my center point. Oh man, that won't focus well. There it is, sort of. So all I have to do is mark my center point on this back part here, and then center this 3.5 inches on each side. So that's like, let me do the math in my head. Half of 3 is 1.5. Half of a quarter, or sorry, half of a half is a quarter. So that's 1 3/4, yeah, 1 3/4 inches on either side of that center point that I'm going to measure out. And then I'm going to draw a line from that down to this, and that'll give me my angle, and which is this here and this here. Did you get all that? I don't know if I got all that. We're gonna see if it works. So here it is drawn out before I cut it. So there's that 13 inches that comes on up here to this flat spot. That's 3.5 from there to there. And then back on down to this mark, which was 13 inches up from there. So all I gotta do is cut off that corner and that corner, and then that piece should fit up. Fingers crossed. Should fit up in there. And there it is. Looks like it pretty much fit. And I know there's a gap around there, but I wanted there to be a gap around there. So, because you got all this business in here, and I want to be able to get the shelf in and out easily. Then I just need to attach it down. And of course, most of my nails are out at the property, and I'm not out there, so I got to scrounge around and see what I can find. Yeah, I came across some. I think these are going to work. They're 1 3/8. I kind of want something a little longer, but I think as skinny as this is here, I mean, if it's 1 3/8 and that's 3/8 plywood, there's still 1 inch of it going down into the 2x4s. And if it doesn't hold, I'll figure something else out. So I got one in here and I got one in down here, and it seems like they're holding pretty well, which I was kind of worried because this kind of had a little bow to it. The only other thing I'm a little concerned of is with this being 3/8, about this being floppy back here because there's no wood back there. But I think by the time I get this all nailed through here, that it's going to be rigid enough, but we'll just have to wait and see. If not, then I'm going to have to put some cross supports or something in there. Of course, my elbow is absolutely loving hammering nails. I don't know what I did to this thing, but it's been bothering me for probably, I don't know, 2 months now. Well, you remember the video where I was pounding that grounding rod in with the post hole, or not the post hole, the post pounder, whatever you call that, post driver. That's what, post pounder, whatever. Yeah, it was after that it started hurting, so I probably need to go get it looked at. But oh well, just keep going, do the best I can. Yeah, so I got nails all along here and up this support here, and this is still pretty flimsy. That's what I was afraid of. I guess I should have got a little thicker plywood, but when I was looking at plywood, you know, this stuff's like gold right now. Just going up to 1/2 inch plywood, it was like $38 a sheet, and this was $20 a sheet. So I thought, well, I'm gonna give this a try. And if I have to, let's put some supports. I guess I'm putting some supports in there, maybe. Yeah, I don't know if you can tell, but it's starting to kind of get towards the evening here and get dark, and I'm losing light out here. And I could put a light out, I guess, but I got some other things I got to attend to this evening. And putting these supports in would be a lot easier if the plywood were not in the way. Oh, idea. I did make this thing removable. I could just take it off and flip it over and do it that way. Like finish nailing everything on here. Like I was gonna try and just take the plywood off so that I could measure and put those cross braces in there. But it ain't coming off. So I guess those, I mean, it would come off, but I'd probably beat it all to heck if I tried to get it off of there. But I guess those nails were a good fit for this project. So this is gonna have to be continued on another day.